damn Seahawks. Man, that clock will not move fast enough. See that clock right there? The clock on my wall is moving twice as slow as that, bro. Are we live now? Seconds. It's the final countdown.
Yo, the lies told that you never make it. Hopeless, so it seems. Eyes closed, candles open wide to embrace your dreams. Sometimes you gotta take a loss just to get the win. Like lots of sin was popping in like oxygen when boxes win. Focus on the mental, never lose like a smooth instrumental. Better choose on the move in a pinto. Choose when I get to, never lose, move on the move, but it's simple. Never give up and we running it, maybe. We just keep winning, we conquering daily. Envision that pay me is never this way. We indigenous, maybe we winning this crazy. Your opportunity, your opportunity, your opportunity. It's your opportunity, your opportunity, your opportunity, your opportunity. It's your opportunity, your opportunity, your opportunity, your opportunity. It's your opportunity, your opportunity, your opportunity, your opportunity.
That's right. That's right. It is Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern time. That means it is time for the main event football show right here on the Villain Squad Network. I am Mike. I am your host. This show is brought to you today by NFLshop.com. You can scan the QR code right here and leverage the power of the villain and get 25% off anything you purchase at NFLshop.com. The Villain Squad is an official marketing partner of NFLshop.com. We are broadcasting live today. This show is going live into Facebook, into Lions Villain Squad. If you haven't already, head over and follow the page. Also broadcasting live into Detroit Lions News Podcast. Thanks to Joe Chapp and the boys for that. And if you don't like Facebook, we're also broadcasting live into YouTube at Villain Squad. Please subscribe to our lowly little channel, the channel that could. And also broadcasting live into a much bigger channel at JC Sports on YouTube as well. I am Main Event Mike. Welcome to the Main Event Football Show. It's a unique week on the show this week. Normally, we're talking about the game that happened on Saturday, or Sunday, excuse me, or Thursday. Today, the game is tonight. It's game day, folks, on the main event. That doesn't happen very often. It's a weekly show. It's unique circumstances. We're also usually talking about the game coming up next week. Well, not going to have that either because the Lions will be on a bye week next week. So this show today, folks, is going to be a little abbreviated, maybe 40 minutes, 45 minutes, so everybody has a chance to get settled in, get their favorite beverage. I'm going to head over to the Lions Den, the greatest atmosphere in the world, but you guys can't come because it's a secret location and you're not invited. But I will be coming live to you tonight from the Lions Den on the Villain Cast with Russell Wayne, right on our YouTube channel only, exclusively on our YouTube channel. You can hang with Russell Wayne during the game, and I'll be there for halftime with live updates from the Lions Den. It's going to be a heck of a time. But let's talk about this game. This is the final word. Kickoff is in an hour. So let's talk about it. Seattle Seahawks has been hashed out all week on every show on the internet. But, I mean, in the schedule, when we looked at it in May, and we looked at the first 4 games before the bye and the early bye, and we were digesting the way that the schedule lays out, which is one of my favorite times of the offseason, is when the schedule comes out and you get to picture it in your head how the games are going to fall. Ooh, 2 on the road. This one, who do we play on Thanksgiving, etc. But when you looked at the first 4 games of the schedule, it was clear that this was a tough stretch. Rams and Bucks from the playoffs, obviously. And then the Cardinals always playing out there has given us trouble in the past. So we were hoping that maybe going into the bye, we'd be 3-1. Sure, some people had us 4-0. But realistic, you can't expect to win them all. So if we speculated that if they were 3-1 going into the bye, we would be in good shape. Well, we still have that goal in sight tonight. We beat the Seattle Seahawks. We will be 3-1 going into the bye. They are 3-0 coming in. They've also won the last 6 in a row against the Lions. Dan Campbell has faced the Seahawks 3 times and never beaten them. So Jared Goff alluded to it a couple of weeks ago when he was asked about, teams gunning for the Lions because they were now a good team. And he said, well, whatever, we've got some teams we're gunning for too. Has to be a bad taste in the mouth over last year's loss to the Seahawks. You have to think that these players have this one circled. I mean, the way they clowned us, the way they took the villain mask, the ski mask, which we hated anyway, and they clowned us with it and was in their locker room and it was all over the internet. It was demoralizing because they won the coin toss. Not much different than what happened to the Detroit Lions. They won the coin toss and won the game. So you've got to think that this one's got to be tough. Last year, it was week 2, it was early in the season as well. Geno Smith tore us up. Geno Smith was 32 of 41 for 328 yards and 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. But he also had 3 rushes for 20 yards. And if you remember, those were backbreakers. Those were big plays. Dan Campbell at the end of the game opts to go for the tie rather than to go for it. Kicks the field goal, ties it up. We lose the coin toss and we lose the game. We had a much weaker secondary at that time, but they still have 3 kick-ass wide receivers like they did last year. DK Metcalf last year, 6 catches, 75 yards. He had a 12.5-yard average. That's pretty deep for average yard of target. Tyler Lockett, 8 catches, 2 touchdowns, including the one in overtime to win it. And Jackson Smith and Jigba, who's only gotten much better since then. This was his best game to date as a rookie at that point. 5 catches, 34 yards. These guys are even better. But I think what we're going to see tonight is going to be much different. And that's because the Seattle Seahawks offensive line is in shambles right now. They're going to get the ball out quick. They're going to just like the Rams did. They're going to get the ball out quick, get the ball in the hands of their playmakers, and try to beat us in space. I believe that's what you're going to see tonight. Let's see what we've got in the comments tonight. Who's in here? Davey, man, great to see you in here as always. Matt in here as well. Go Lions, one pride, at least memes. So pumped for these games. I hear that's right. I know that's right, man. Raise your hand if you ate a football-shaped meatloaf for dinner last night. All right. So put it in the comments. We want to know what you think about the beatdown they put on us last year. And do you think the Lions are going to win this game? I mean, I want to know what you think. This game, I can't wait for it to get here, in fact. So let's talk about some things, make the time go fast. You know, Einstein's theory of relativity, E equals MC squared, postulates that when you move at the speed of light, time slows down. What also happens if your team is playing on Monday night, time also slows down because it's only 11 minutes after 7, folks. I've only been rambling for 10 minutes. But I don't do it alone. There's a guy behind the curtain who really makes it all happen, and that is my partner in crime, our producer, Mr. Russell Wayne. Welcome to the program tonight, Russ.
Boom! Here I am.
There he is.
Oh, there I am.
So,
hey,
Russ,
I got my. It's good to be on here. I got my blue Kool-Aid. I'm starting it earlier. Just so you know, I'm going to be live during the entire football game, during the Lion Villain cast. I want you to join me. And who knows, the third and fourth quarter may have a few more of these in me, and who knows what you might be able to get if you join our watch party tonight. And I'll be on here, and you'll be over at the Lions Den trying to drop in, try to get on that Wi-Fi and see if you can't get them singing the Lions song with you. I may even bring my guitar up here and sing one. I don't know.
Speaking of guitars, what's up, Larry Arnold in the house? That is an incredible musician right there in his own right. Cheryl's in the house, says, let's go Lions. I love it. Davey's already throwing a score up. He says 21-17 Lions, and I'm so glad you put that comment in, Davey. Thank you so much. 21-17, huh? That's 4 points. That's exactly what the line is, Davey. Lions by 4. And this is really interesting, folks, because at the beginning of the week on the Villain Report show, which we do every weekday morning at 10 a.m. with Russell Wayne, we make our predictions on Thursday. And when we made our prediction on Thursday, the line on the game was Lions minus 3.5 points. The line went up at the end of that day. We reported that at the beginning of the day. And at the end of the day, the line had gone to 4.5 points. The line as it stands 5 minutes before this show aired today is 4 points. And this is all on DraftKings, all on the same outlet. So 4 points, and Davey's predicted a 4-point win there. But Russ, I want to pivot real quick back to what we were talking about before Davey made that great comment, because that is something I want to talk about is the point spread. But before I do that, Russ, I want your thoughts on tonight's game, not looking back at last year's game, but tonight. What is key for you?
Man, that's a great question, and it's something that's been thrown around that's out there, and I'm kind of buying into it. But Devin Witherspoon versus Amon-Ra St. Brown in the slot, maybe the best slot corner in the NFL versus our number one wide receiver. We just paid him all that money right there. If Amon-Ra can have a big game in the middle of that field, and we can control the run game too. Another big thing here is let's talk about Hank instead of Frank. There's no Frank Ragnow, but we got Hank Fraley. And because of where they're injured, where they're in the middle, their number one defensive tackles are going to be out, along with our number one offensive player is going to be out. So that's kind of a wash when you really look at it. I expect the Lions to be able to run the football tonight, to be able to control the line of scrimmage. And that matchup right there with Devin Witherspoon and Amon-Ra St. Brown is going to be so important, covering the middle of that field. Can the Lions get some yak yards? Will Seattle be able to tackle in space? And vice versa. Their wide receivers versus our brand new remade secondary without Brian Branch and Ifeatu Melifonwu. So this could
Right.
be interesting. It's a very interesting game.
Very intriguing game. You're absolutely right. And I don't know. I love that call out of Amon-Ra St. Brown against Devin Witherspoon. It's been very well documented that the Lions were targeting Devin Witherspoon in the draft, right? And Seattle and damn Seahawks plucked him right out in front of us, causing us to move back. And then if you remember last year, we burned Devin Witherspoon on the flea flicker play, baited the young guy. He's probably got that on his mind because he's a highlight reel now for that play a million times. Very intriguing matchup, Russell Wayne. But to your point, I love the call out about Amon-Ra St. Brown, but for me, it's all about AG and the defense stopping their offense. It's a given that they aren't going to shut us out. We're going to score. We're going to be able to put up some points. Our offense is too good. They're too beat up on defense. We got too many weapons. Ben Johnson going to dial. We're going to score. Can we limit their scoring? To me, that's my key to the game. Aaron Glenn and his love of man coverage. He loves man coverage. Aaron Glenn runs man coverage in the secondary, what he played as a player for many years in the NFL. 46% of the time, Aaron Glenn is running. That's the second highest in the league of defensive coordinators. He runs man more than anyone. Well, Geno Smith, 73% completion against man coverage. That's top 3 in the league. So this is what Geno loves to do. He loves to get you in man coverage where he'll throw it to his uber talented receivers and make him look good. And we're going to see that tonight. They're going to be getting the ball out quick. Big news on their front is that Kenneth Walker, the running back, is back after being injured. And he's back tonight. But you can't run on this team. You ain't going to run on the Lions. You could try, but I don't think you're going to run on the Lions. No one's been able to run on the Lions yet. And Kenneth Walker's a BA, right? He is an absolute excellent running back. And Zach Charbonnet is Mike. Number 2. What's that?
I just wanted to throw this up there 14 minutes ago. Detroit Lions News Podcast released this. This is the official inactives: Brian Branch, Giovanni Manu, Frank Ragnow, and Isaiah Williams being inactive for tonight's game for the Lions.
Good call out. Brian Branch, after suffering that big head injury last week, supposedly was trending upwards with the concussion protocol, but then was an undisclosed illness. An undisclosed illness, and he was listed as doubtful. Or was it doubtful? Yeah, doubtful. So questionable, they usually play when it's questionable. When it's doubtful, they rarely ever play when they're listed as doubtful. So, but then we saw a video of him showing up to the game with his bag, Brian Branch, like he might be playing. He was showing up with all the players and his bag into the locker room and such. So I was thinking, maybe he will play. So it is good to, thanks for putting that up, Russ. Larry Arnold says the key to the Lions shutting down the run and get great field position. Again, use Jack Fox. He's a weapon. It's a good call if you have to punt. If you remember in that game against Seattle, they never punted once. Remember, their punter never punted.
Oh, my God. That was awful. I mean, coming in the next day to work here was hard. That's hard because you're pretty realistic when it comes to the real things. And what am I supposed to say to that? And I'm usually the optimist. I'll try to find the silver lining in anything. And I'm just like, I don't know what to tell you, dude. Like, no punts. That's it's not the offense. That's what I told you. I was like, It's not our offense. How do you score 41 points and lose?
Right. David, welcome to the show. Says, run the ball, keep Geno on the bench is a big deal. And that's a great call out, especially the way they're beat up on the D line. Let's just control the clock and beat them down. Jordan with the great comment. Can't let it come down to the luck of a coin flip this time. Got to end it in regulation. Couldn't agree with that call out more anymore. Welcome to the show. David says, stop the run. Well, the Lions are doing that. Our problem has been the secondary for the last 2 years, 3 years.
I think we're in a good spot, Mike, because when you're talking about, we've always struggled against the wide receivers that are really tall because we never had tall cornerbacks that are able to match up. And Terrion Arnold is 6 feet tall. Carlton Davis is 6'1". They've fixed that from a schematic standpoint as well. I think that we match up way better this year in a secondary than we did in any previous year.
I love this call out by Mike Fisher. Geno's thrown an interception every game and been sacked multiple times every game. That's right. And who have they beat too, Mike? Who have they beat? They beat Denver. Yeah. They beat Denver. They beat New England, and they beat Miami. They beat Bo Nix, rookie quarterback, Jacoby Brissett, journeyman bridge quarterback, and Skylar Thompson, basically an unproven backup. They haven't beaten anyone solid. And Geno Smith has been intercepted, like you say, against Denver.
Well, there's the Miami one.
And two against Miami. Yeah, I'm looking at it right here. Two against Denver Miami. And two against Miami. And New England, and this brings up a great point. New England, he went 33 of 44 for 327 yards and a touchdown and a QB rating of 103. And I'll tell you why. Because Geno Smith is very good against the blitz. And Gerard Mayo, first-year head coach for the New England Patriots, dialed up the blitz a lot in that game. Geno Smith was 10 for 12 against the blitz and a touchdown. He's a veteran. He knows pre-snap where the pressure's coming from, and he's able to get away from the pressure and distribute the ball. Hit it where they ain't. It's the oldest strategy in sports, right? And that's what he's doing. He's a veteran quarterback. You have a young quarterback, you dial up the pressure, and he doesn't know what he's looking at. He's learning on the job. Geno Smith already knows. So blitzing him's not the answer. Somebody on social media today was saying, hey, G needs to dial up the blitz. No, he doesn't. But he is going to have to play strong zone defense tonight, folks, because when you play man coverage the way he does, you turn your back on the receiver. And that Geno Smith, being a veteran, sees that, and he knows when he can run for that first down. Like last year, 3 rushes, 20 yards to get the first down every time, to get the first down. Because I got him in man.
Side, Mike.
I got him in man coverage. What's that? Go ahead.
I said, look at that right side, though, where they're giving up 185 yards on the ground, and that's with a full strength defense right here. So, I mean, really, I understand everything that you're saying with them all being able to stop a mobile quarterback and all that. But the bottom line is, if the Lions can get out there with their offensive line and they can control the line of scrimmage and be able to control time of possession, keep Geno Smith off of the damn field, they should be able to win this game. Because we're better than they are. We're a lot better than they are.
Right. I like that. Sandy, go Lions. Detroit fan man, rest in peace, Mutombo and Pete Rose. Now, I had heard Mutombo give a finger wave in his honor. But I had not heard Pete Rose until I read it in your comment there, fan man.
Yeah.
Charlie Hustle, huh? Wow. I think it's a travesty he was never put in the Hall of Fame. It was a personal vendetta with him and Bud Selig. It was disgusting. It was proven that he never bet against his own team. It was proven he never bet against his own team. That was proven. I always believed he should have made the Hall of Fame. I'm sure someday he still will be. Rest in peace, Pete Rose. If you're not old enough to remember Pete Rose, he was amazing.
Yeah, I like this call out right here with Jason for Russell. We need to see the secondary to improve for us to win. Hutchinson will have 2 sacks for sure. Let's go Lions. We need this victory. And I agree with you. And that's why we spent the resources we did on it. I mean, that's Brad Holmes in a nutshell right there. Let's not just attack a need. Let's go after. Let's get 2 free agency guys and 2 double down in the draft too. I mean, you want to talk about an overhaul. This is a completely different secondary right here. I think Amik and Tyler Lockett with DK Metcalf and Carlton Davis, Terrion Arnold and Jackson Smith-Njigba. I actually think that we match up pretty well in the secondary. And I'm just hoping that the next man up in a Lawrence Strickland or a Brandon Joseph in that safety area is going to be enough, because they're smart enough and McDonald is smart enough to attack us where we're weak. And that is a concern of mine.
Such a great analysis from Russell Wayne, folks. Look at all this stuff we've gone through, and it's only 7:25. The clock is just not moving. We've covered like 9 topics in 13 minutes it's taken.
I got one for you, Mike. I mean, because we do have Broski in here, and he's throwing in the comments. But what we love to do on this show is we don't minimize victories or anything. We don't have to do that, and we do have to say congratulations to Broski and his Chicago Bears for defeating Matt Stafford and the LA Rams and Caleb Williams, and just another game of experience. And that's all he really needs. He just needs to spend some time against pro defenses. And, you know, I know that it's not going as great as all of the Bear fans that had envisioned, that they thought they were going to go 15-2 and everything. But here, you're 2-2 with a rookie quarterback, growing pains and all of that, but you're still sitting there at 2-2 with a chance to do something this year. He'll get better. You got a great defense. And when you have a great defense, you're able to stay in almost any game. So congratulations to you, Broski. Kudos to you. I'll tip the hat.
For sure. And there were a lot of bad throws by Caleb Williams, though, in that game. There were a lot of bad throws.
Sure. He's a rookie.
But he does have that good innate awareness in the pocket, and to be able to get away from pressure. And he's going to get those throws under control. You watch. He's got all of the tools, folks. Dangerous. I mean, he's no Jaden Daniels, but
he's got a
moving on. That's going to be our great comeback to Bear fans now, Russ. Well, he's no Jaden Daniels.
Yeah, Jaden Daniels looks like that's a real quarterback right there. And he is fast. He can make stuff happen with his feet, but he doesn't count on it. Like, I mean, he is always keeping his eyes downfield, and he's looking to throw the ball and to put the ball into the hands of his playmakers rather than him trying to do everything. So he's got that field general feel to the game as a rookie, and that's pretty rare.
Yes, sir. This season is all about developing Caleb, is what Broski says. And you can see that the Bears are doing it. But Broski, do you think they're going to change coordinators? Do you think they're going to keep this thing going? One of the people here, David, on the chat says they should have kept Fields. I don't think so. Ryan Poles was never going to keep Fields. Fields would have had to done a lot more than he did. It was never his guy. Caleb was always going to be his guy.
You need a coaching staff. That's what you're going to say at the end of this year, Broski. And I hate just giving you the bad news of it, but you got talent. Ryan Poles is a good GM, and he's bringing you talent in there. And at the end of the year, the story is going to be, well, Eberflus isn't getting enough out of these guys, and you guys are going to be getting new coaching staff in with all this talent. So really, I expect the Bears to be good next year, going into the second year with whatever regime they got going. But I doubt Eberflus is going to be part of your future.
Wow. Russell Wayne. So
is that a hot take? I don't even think that's not. I don't even.
Well, let's just speculate here. Let's say that happens and they can Eberflus, and then Aaron Glenn gets a head coaching job. Would you like to see Eberflus as a defensive coordinator for the Lions?
Well, for sure. I mean, when a lot of times with those coordinator people, it's because they can't handle the whole load, but they're really smart in their area. I think Eberflus is a fine for, coordinator type of job, but it seems like he's overwhelmed and outmatched in almost every battle that he's going to go into where coaching matters.
Wow. I don't know. I thought that ever since he took over the defense was a turning point for that franchise.
Sure.
The way it's been going. I mean, they were talking about firing him. If you remember the Thursday night or Monday night game against the Commanders, they were going to fire him, and that they played for their coach that night. And Justin Fields had one of his best games I've ever seen him play.
Well, as a Bear fan, I'll throw that out there to Broski. Do you want to see my scenario play out, or are you riding with Eberflus? Do you believe in Eberflus?
I don't think so. I don't think so since he calls him Eberflush.
Eberflush. Yeah. I mean, that's the thing is you need the trifecta when it comes to a good football team. So, I mean, the Lions have had parts good before. They've had good players, or they've had a good coach, but not the right players. They've had, I mean, but really it takes ownership, the whole fluid motion with the salary cap, drafting, developing players. Then there's only a few teams that get there like that, and they have a few years, and the Lions are in that right now.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yep.
that's where the Bears are. They got a good spot with Brian Poles. The guy can bring in some talent. Now you need the other two parts to start working. You got to get your development part. You need to develop these players before they're out and leave, because you can't buy players forever.
That's such a good point. This is a golden age for general managers, right? The role of general manager now, your average football fan has so much more working knowledge of it than what the average fan did years ago, just a few years ago. Like,
great testament to where we've came as
right, these guys. This is a golden age for GMs: Brett Veach, John Schneider, Eric DeCosta. It goes on and on. Mickey Loomis, Brad Holmes, Howie Roseman. These guys are really good at what they do. And you look at a team like the Dallas Cowboys, who their owner acts as the GM. And anytime you see that happening, like after Tom Brady left the Patriots, Belichick trying to be GM and coach at the same time. I mean, when you don't have that guy in today's NFL, it hurts your franchise. And I think the Dallas Cowboys are going to suffer. Jerry Jones really needs to step back away from that team. Dak Prescott's a very talented quarterback. CeeDee Lamb's incredible. They have some pieces there. Micah Parsons, I don't know if you know, went down with a high ankle sprain this weekend. That is something that could linger 2 to 3 weeks normally before they even talk about coming back. Unless you're Patrick Mahomes, then you just ride on one leg all the way to a Super Bowl title.
Right.
Which is exactly what he did.
Well, that's a perfect example of it, though. Like there you go. The Dallas Cowboys, they got talent. I think they got high end talent. And you might even say they have what are the coaching staff put in there. But the thing is like you have to be able to develop talent. So now you're in this problem where you just had to pay Dak, you just had to pay CeeDee Lamb, and now Micah Parsons wants his money. Now he's going out with a high ankle sprain, and now you're just kind of stuck in this limbo area because you're not as good as the good teams right now, Dallas. You're not going to get over the hump either because you don't have any cap space. You had a nice little 2-3 year window right there where you had a chance to do something. You had a lot of high-end talent sitting in there, but you didn't get it done. I think that's what's happening to the San Francisco 49ers too. You had that window in there. You had that high-end talent in there. Now a couple things didn't go your way. You've paid a couple players, and now those players are out, and you don't have ways to fix it. So do you have the depth to maintain there? There's only a couple teams, and that's where I think that we're strong, Mike. This is what Brad Holmes has built here, something that's a fluid salary cap. You got this gigantic, huge 2-year window here to 2026. And then in 2026, there's going to be an opportunity to mortgage and do even more to extend that out a couple extra years for the window. And they're developing players. That's the main thing, is you have good ownership. You're drafting good players, and then you have a coaching staff that's developing the young players. The hardest part is going to be, letting go of either Derek Barnes or Ifatu or Aleem McNeil, because you're just not going to be able to pay all these guys.
And one thing we didn't talk about at all is those 4-0 Minnesota Vikings and their victory over the Green Bay Packers. And Viking fans have been riding a big old purple wave. What does Darnold Schwarzenegger have to say?
They tried to come in and they tried to do these things, but we didn't let them. They said, take my hand. I'm Donald Schwarzenegger. Get to the chopper. I'll go through the air. I'll throw touchdown passes to Justin Jefferson. 4-0. Donald Schwarzenegger.
Yes.
You know, he's a big fan of the show.
Yes. Okay. But the 4-0 Minnesota Vikings, Sam Darnold, man, hey, what a gritty performance that was, too. They were up by 3 touchdowns at halftime. It wasn't even close. No one scored in the third quarter in this game. Packers made a valiant comeback, but it was too little too late. The Vikings just playing prevent defense. Brian Flores dialing up the blitz more than any defensive coordinator in the league. And, I mean, who'd have thunk it? Malik Willis, 2-0. Jordan Love, 0-2.
Come on, man. Talk about it.
Packer fans are losing their minds right now. What a crazy, crazy year it has been. And Packers go 2-2. Lions come out of this one with a win against Seattle, go 3-1. That would put the Packers in last place. Not a place they've been a lot. Yeah, Broski Bear, that was Russ. That was Russ doing that. So was that Russ? No, that was a soundbite, man. That was Arnold. That's hilarious. Good job, Russell. You had me.
Robot from the future. You can't mess with Sam Donald Schwarzenegger. Come on, try hard. Get to the chopper.
Check my hand if you want to live.
And then here's the reaction that you usually get from people. Oh man, yeah.
Right on.
Mama says foosball's for the devil.
So the Lions could be 2-2 after tonight.
Yep.
And the Vikings sitting there at 4-0, Packers and Bears and Lions all at 2-2. That would be, I still wouldn't be hitting the panic button too hard if that were the case, because we do have some easier games on the schedule. And I think that we're going to win easily.
I'm not going to hit the panic button if they lose, but I'm going to, there's a certain part, like this is the game you got to win, because this is one of those check mark boxes, dude. Plus we got 2 weeks to go into the bye and think about a loss. Like this team, I need to feel is that team that isn't going to allow teams to beat on them over and over again. You know, I need to feel like that grit core, like running a ball down their throat. You're going to Lions then, aren't you? Aren't you, Mike?
Yes, you have been watching the Main Event Football Show. We want to say thank you to everyone watching and commenting live, and thank you to you as well if you're watching this on the recorded feed that's on our page. Now, I hope everybody has a good time tonight. Everyone, please be safe. We'll be back again next Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time with the Main Event Football Show. For Russell Wayne, I'm Main Event Mike. God bless each and every one of you. One pride.
Yo, the lies told that you never make it. Hopeless, so it seems. Eyes closed, hands open wide to embrace your dreams. Sometimes you gotta take a loss just to get the win. Like lots of sin was popping in like oxygen when boxes wet. Focus on the mental, never lose like a smooth instrumental. Better choose on the move in a pinto. Choose when I get to, never lose, move on the move, but it's simple. Never give up and we running it, maybe. We just keep winning, we conquering daily. Envision that pay me, it's never this way. We indigenous, maybe we winning this crazy. Your opportunity, your opportunity, your opportunity. It's your opportunity, your opportunity, your opportunity, your opportunity. It's your opportunity, your opportunity, your opportunity, your opportunity. It's your opportunity.